what advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are watching this that are going through the same thing right now, just like they're trying to get people to see the vision, to invest with them? What advice would you give them to get over that challenge, or get over that obstacle?
I just wrote a book in November. I released a book called Fear, Forget Everything and Reset. The website is fearworkshops.com. You can go on Instagram, you're on Facebook. I'll go into that in details. 234-page book with photos. The short answer that I would give to entrepreneurs who are just starting off right now is you can't take it personally. See, I took it personally, but I didn't let it stop me. A lot of people will let that stop them because they feel like nobody has the support or wants to support them. But what I know now that I'm on the other side of the fence is maybe I didn't deserve this support because I didn't have a track record. Now that I have a track record, people are like, word. It's not that they didn't have faith in me, that they didn't trust me with their money. They just didn't know enough about the process. So again, the book is called Forget Everything and Reset. We're on Instagram, Facebook. The website is fearworkshops.com. Ebook is $5. The paperback is $15. We made it really affordable. But the title and the concept is Forget Everything and Reset. So there were situations where, as a younger person, I would have gotten offended and took it to heart. But I really didn't need to do that. What I needed to do was, I needed to assess the situation in a way where it was productive for all of us.
Right.
And like I said, I didn't have the track record then. I didn't have the proof. I didn't have the office, the staff, the records, the HUDs, right, to show people that I could really make them this money. So now when people come back around now, though, there is a cost, right? Because the people did believe in me. Like, I did get here with investors and help people. You're one of the early investors in the company, right? And we never met. Which is
right, that's the crazy.
It's like blind faith. You heard something and then it made sense to you.
But we went off the chemistry and the energy too, because the energy was right.
Right, and that's why when somebody comes in with the wrong energy, I say you could leave. It's not that I don't like them. It's just that when I first started, I used to spend so much time trying to convince people. And then they gave me their money, and then I had to convince them, I don't need to spend time doing it. The more time I'm on the phone talking to somebody, proving to them why they came to me in the first place, the less time I'm making somebody else money.
That makes sense.
So just to go back to the question, new entrepreneurs, take it to heart, but don't take it personal. Use it as motivation. Figure out what you can do to tighten up your pitch. Figure out what you're doing, why the people are saying no. Like, really listen to what they're saying and why they're saying no. Some people are going to be haters. They're just going to say no just because they can. But other people are saying no just because they're not ready yet. But keep them around because they will come around. This year, I'd say like maybe 10 or 15 of my clients were around in the beginning, but they see the explosion and then they came around now and they see the success.
Right. And then just to touch on let's backtrack a little bit on what we were talking about earlier with being personal versus public versus private. Trying to not be messy with this question.
Yeah, ask the question, that's fine. And don't edit it, just leave it like that.
Okay.
Ask the question, ask whatever question you want.
Okay, so I know people throughout the years have been asking you about your net worth and how much properties you own and where you live and all this stuff that is very personal to you and private. Even strangers, I'm pretty sure, that ask you this when they meet you. How does that make you feel? And I know that you touched on it a little bit earlier in the conversation, but I really want to tap into your brain and your thought process when they ask you these type of questions. And is there something that you feel like you would share when you get to a certain level, or when you reach a certain level of success, or when you become like Google, or I don't know, how do you feel about that? And I don't be messy.
You didn't ask, right? So again, back to how we started working. At first you started with investing and you ended up with a property, now you're in the process of selling your property. We could talk about how your money tripled or almost quadrupled in less than a year. We could talk about that, right? That's 400% in 1 year. But we're not going to talk about that specifically, right? So I could answer a question like that in a roundabout way because they don't know how much you invested. They just know that you quadrupled your money. It's like Bitcoin money investing in most HA homes. But remember during that process, people were like, "Oh, he's gonna take your money. You're never gonna get a house. And then you started showing them, and then they started believing. So then they started asking you, "Well, how much is he worth? How much?" Some of those people legitimately wanted to invest. Some of those people just wanted to be nosy because they were really trying to figure out your business.
Yeah.
So when people ask me how much are you worth, I always respond with, "What difference does that make to you?" "Oh no, I just want to know." I'm like, "Me too. I'm still counting." That's cool. I don't know. It's true. I have like on my board. I think I have 19 open properties right now. Last year I couldn't manage 5 properties because I didn't have enough crews. I got 19 open properties right now. That including yours. Mm-hmm. We're waiting for it to close. The snowstorm. Anyway, 19 properties. So I don't know because every day I might sell a building, I might buy a building, I might get new clients. So I don't know how much I'm worth. That being said, where do I live? Like, in my house. Like, again, what difference does that make? I mean, sometimes people are asking a legitimate question, they just ask it the wrong way. So they might want what they might be looking for, and this is me again, having fear, forgetting everything that we said, having an optimistic outlook on it instead of being offended. Mm-hmm. Okay, why would somebody want to know where I live? Maybe because if they're in New York and they're investing their money in Texas, it's because they want to know that I'm in Texas. Okay. So what I answer is, well, you know I have an office in Cologne. You know I have an office in Brooklyn. You know we opened up an office in Philly. Mm-hmm. You know we're gonna, so that they're comfortable with the fact that wherever we're gonna invest their money, we have a base. Yeah. I'll answer it that way, but like, what's my address? Why? Like, are you gonna mail me something? Mm-hmm. Mail to the office. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even know if that's private, and this is not me trying to, I don't know, like equate myself on a popularity level. But
I really don't even think it's popularity.
No, but look, like let's take like celebrities. Mm-hmm. How many celebrity, like LeBron had his house vandalized? Let's just wrap it up from ATL. Pop Smoke. Somebody knew where he was at, and it put him in a bad situation. Or X, somebody knew where he was at. I used to go on live. I don't go on live anymore. Right. Because I'm in some tough areas, and people, I don't go on live.
Like they don't want to see you up. They don't want to see you successful, and then they just want to take whatever you have. And sometimes you have nothing on, and they just.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even like Hussain specific. It's just people are in bad situations. The other day, one of the gentlemen who just cuts lawns. He just cuts lawns, wears a white t-shirt and just cuts lawns. Somebody tried to rob him at gunpoint. Are we gonna steal his lawnmower? But that's the situation. That's the name. It was kids, 2 17-year-old kids. They weren't thinking. That man could have got shot while he was mowing the lawn.
Doing the honest job.
So I'm not really around like that. Sometimes I do look at houses and whatever, but most times I don't. I have crews for that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So not that I want to put them in jeopardy, but the point is that some of those guys are nameless and faceless. So if I'm the face of the company, like when rappers, like when there's an entourage and one of the entourage has a gun, they don't say the guy's name, they say the artist's name because that's who gets the clicks. And so what I'm trying to say as far as not making it a popularity contest is, if something, God forbid, I don't speak anything to existence, if something like that happened to me, I don't have 1 million followers. Nobody's necessarily going to care on a global level. But the people who watch my page, those people would know my moves. And that's another reason why for HA Homes, all my stuff is in the story. So I know everybody who's tracking what I'm doing.
That's moving very strategic, and that's smart.
I have to. You know what I'm saying? I have a daughter, you know what I'm saying? I got people that care about me. And with success or perceived success, you end up having enemies, and that's something that is.
And that's kind of what I want to touch base on too, with your family, your old friends, old colleagues. Like, do they think that you've changed now? Because a lot of people, when you get up or you get money, they be like, "Oh, money changed you."
In the book, I touched on it again, where I talk about overusing certain words. Friends is a word that is overused. People say friends because they don't use the real vocabulary. If I went to school with you, you were my classmate.
Right.
If I work with you, or co-worker. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If we go to church, you're a member of the congregation. I can do this all day. So it's about your vocab. Because a lot of times people are like, damn, why my friend crossed me? Because that wasn't your friend. The only reason you were together is because of proximity. You didn't pick that person. You just were both in the same neighborhood, so you went to the same elementary school and the same junior high school. That person wasn't really your friend. You didn't like them since first grade. You just were always in the same class, or you're from the same neighborhood. So I use the word friend, I use the word family very sparse. I say relatives a lot. So my relatives, do I have relatives? Yeah, like that's why I have 2 phones. Like, nobody has my personal number. My personal number, but that ring stays on. That ring won't go off right now because the people that are really close to me, if it goes off, I'm stopping everything I'm doing. I'm picking that up. I just want to see what it is. And everybody who has that number knows not to call me unless they need me. They could text me, but the call is gonna come through. So, you know, like in business, you gotta have thick skin. I'm not concerned if somebody that I'm related to is offended because I don't follow them on Instagram. I don't care if somebody's offended that they don't have my personal number. Like, then don't call me and we're fine. Like, so if people feel like I changed, I feel like that's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't spend time worrying about what people think about me and my lifestyle. And my lifestyle has changed, not so much because of money, because of necessity and being in the public. Unfortunately, my business I can't do behind the scenes. So I need to be in the forefront. But I don't like being on Instagram, I don't like being on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? I like interviews because I like giving information.
Right.
But if this was just audio and you never see my face, I'd be happy with that. So I do like my privacy, and I always, let's say, wanted money, but I never wanted fame. You know what I'm saying? But that comes with it. People know my name because of different things that I do in the community, and that's fine. I just don't want to end up being a target for, and not even just for violence. Like people who try to smear your name, which happens just because somebody doesn't pay their rent for 5 months, and you're a victim, and now they want to say you're a slumlord. Now you're a slumlord, and I'm like, I give so much money to the community, and you're trying to bash me because you don't pay your bills. Like, so it's just all these new things that I never thought I would experience.
Do you think that it's your personality why you have such tough skin, or do you think that it comes with age or wisdom and experience? Because a lot of older people, they care about what people think about them, and even younger people, teenagers and young adults, that is just the phase that you gotta go through a lot of the times, caring about what your parents may think, friends may think, and then that's why you don't want to do certain things or take certain risks. So what is your take on that?
It's hard for me to answer that because I only know how I think. I don't know why I think how I think, I just know that I've seen progress along the way.
Right.
I'm sure it's a mixture of all these things, but I can't really pinpoint it. I can say that, like with most things, practice and experience helps, but I always feel like I had a thick skin. When I was a kid, I grew up in Brighton Beach. My mom was a teacher, so I went to school in Park Slope. So what that meant was, when I would go to school and everybody was talking about what happened after school on Saturday, I could never relate because I didn't live there. And then when I would get back home, everybody would talk about what happened in school or their teachers, and I couldn't relate to that. So I was always by myself. That's why maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm comfortable just going to whatever state and setting up shop. Because I know I'm good, like, you know, and I feel like I know how to move. And in most places, like people say, where do you live? I never tell you where I own houses because you know, sometimes I might need to get away, and there's some places where I'll stay where nobody knows anything about real estate because I don't want to be known for real estate. I have enough money where I could just go and coexist and get in and get out, and I'm just a neighbor. And then if anybody says, oh, what do you do? I'm just a retired teacher. You retired so young, you know.
It is what it is.
Love, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I sold my house in New York and I cashed out and I'm just retired. So I'm kind of living off of that state. Which means
that's a good alibi. I mean, it's not an alibi.
It's the truth. It's just part of the story.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know your business. But you know, some people older, oh, but you should get back to work. And then I'm like, thank you for caring. And I get back to what I'm doing, like back to relaxing.
So what would you say is the hardest part of being successful? And how would you define that success?
Alright, so I only, if you asked me this question a couple of years ago, I would say, I don't know, I can't judge success. But now that I have a new definition of what success is the journey. Success is not a destination. So I'm successful because I'm actively pursuing a goal. It could be anything. It could be exercise. You're successful because you went to the gym today. Now you may not have the body you desire, but you're successful because you're working towards it. So I'm working towards all my goals. I have several goals. What was the first part of the question?
And what's the hardest part about being successful?
I think the hardest part of, I will say this because I think this is what you mean. If not, you let me know. I think the hardest part of achieving some of my financial goals or some of my personal goals is that people can't relate to that because they haven't been through some of those trials and tribulations yet. So when I say something like, you know, I had to let go some of my staff because it was the best business decision, somebody who's never run a business, somebody who's never been an entrepreneur, oh, that's cool, you only care about money. And it's like, and you have no idea what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure if you ask most of the people that work for me, I would love to work again. But I'm not gonna hurt myself, hurt the people around me, hurt my clients, just to say I'm a nice guy. I still do other things I don't have to do. If you look at how much money I give to the community, I built a community center like on my own money. I can't take donations, my own money. I'm building a community center. So again, I don't care about what people think because most people want to weigh in and they don't have any experience. It's kind of like one of them things like where somebody's like, oh, don't go to that restaurant, the restaurant's not good. Have you ever been? No, but I heard about it. So now how do you judge it? You know how much stuff I heard about Texas until I got there? Is it racist? Yes, it's racism, but it's racism in New York. But you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm not gonna lie, that was one thing that kind of held me back from going to the South because it's just like everybody's like, oh, it's so racist down there.
I've probably never been to Texas.
Right.
Texas is one of the best places. I love being in Texas. You know, out of all the places I've gone, I feel very comfortable in Texas. So what I tell most people is, if somebody hasn't done what you're trying to do, don't listen to them for the most part. You know, so even if they have good intentions, the path to hell is paved for good intentions. Like, thank you for your, I didn't ask you, but thank you for your opinion. And be humble about it, and then just continue to work, because nobody knows your journey.
Right. How would you say you balance personal life and work life? Because I know that that's something that I personally struggle with on a smaller scale, and a lot of people I notice deal with it, especially if you have children, you have a child, you have a wife or fiance, yeah. And then you have your relatives that you have to, stay in touch with and whatnot. How do you deal with that, and then have all of these properties and all of these staffs and all of these things to worry about? Like, where is the balance? How do you find it?
I touch on that more in depth in the book. It's actually in there.
Y'all need to go and get this book. Just get the book.
Forget everything we said. It's in fear. It's fear. It's very easy to get. Forget everything we said about Hussain Abdullah. That being said, I have a whole chapter about my daughter. And most people think it's about our relationship, but me being a mathematician, it comes out in a different way. I break down how little time I got to spend with her when I lived with her in the house because I was so busy making moves. And now I actually get to see her more, even though I'm all over the place. What I can say is that you gotta pick what's more important to you. And some people will say again, well, you're saying money is more important to you? No, I'm saying knowing that my daughter's straight is more important to me than working a regular 9 to 5 and somebody fires me and now we're all in a bad situation. Well, I gotta look, nobody gets to tell me what my path is. I push. And at this point, thankfully, I'm in a position where I can now afford to say, I don't want to do bookkeeping, I don't want to do invoices anymore. Here goes a nominal fee. Now you're being paid to handle that for me. I don't answer my own phone. You can call my phone right now, it won't ring. Somebody else is going to answer it. I don't want to answer my phone.
Right.
So I could afford to pay somebody. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do
goes
that.
back to like the delegating the different tasks.
Yeah, and even if you go back to our earlier interviews, washing clothes, whatever, like, there's certain things I never ever did and I never want to do because it's not the best use of my time. What people don't really appreciate is that time is not mandatory. Like, people really, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I can get, like, you, tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
So I live every day like today is my last day. So I make sure I talk to my daughter twice a day. I make sure I tell my fiance I love her all day. I talk to my mother every day. I talk to my brother every day. I make sure that the people who I care about know. And then when I got rid of that property management side of things, it opened up so much more. So then I even like us, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm able to start reaching out to people.
That's so true because like almost a whole year we didn't really even talk because you was always on the go.
Yeah, you couldn't get me.
Yeah.
If you needed me, you had to set an appointment. Now I'm a little bit more available.
Yeah.
Because I want to be. Because I value my time more than anything. So I appreciate, sometimes more than the person, I appreciate their time, which is why I don't answer my phone. Because when I'm on the phone with you, I need to be giving you attention. I can't be stopping, oh, hold on, let me, that's annoying. And it's not professional, but it's also a lack of respect. So what I do is, I really value my time, and that's how I judge it. Everything that I do, if I have two things to do, like right now, taking this time for us to speak, this was really important to me. So I changed my whole day around so that we could do this. Now, obviously, this had to be somewhat important to you because you made the time. So I gotta respect your time, which is why my phones are not near you. It could be a fire right now. You see what's going on in Texas?
Yeah.
I don't know and I don't care because there's nothing I can do about it right now. When this is done and I check my email, if I choose to, then I might not check my email all day.
It was a weekend, so why would you?
Because the world won't stop. But maybe if I check my email, something that happened, it's gonna affect me when I go to Brooklyn.
Right. I'm
not checking that phone. That's another reason why I have two phones. I can separate church and state. I separate personal and business. So my personal, people who send me funny stuff, cool. Something happened in a building. Yeah, there's other people that they could call. Because I have it set up like that. So maybe those people that they call want to call me about something.
Well, then talk about that real quick. We're gonna wrap up soon. How important it is to you to set up funnels, like business funnels, and having a business strategy when creating your business or when you're in your business? Because, like you said, you have different people that they can go to reach out to if they need something, so they don't have to come to you. And that's sort of like a funnel in a way, or like, for an example, you said you created your book, and then because you're creating your book, now you're opening the bookstore, and you're doing all these different things. That's like a funnel. So how important is it in a business to do those things? Because I don't think people realize that is important.
You have to. You have to funnel things, and you have to create silos. Everything has to be separated. That's why, like, okay, we got Camp Community. So what do we have to do? A brand new website, brand new Instagram, brand new YouTube, Camp Community, subscribe, like you can do all that for Camp Community. But it's a totally different entity. And you want to keep it separate because, I mean, there's a million reasons, but you have to have it separate because I can't have somebody from Camp Community calling me about, let's say, a book order, which they wouldn't because I have somebody who's managing the store. It's just my investment, named after my mother. But that being said, you shouldn't be able to get me on my personal phone about something that happens in the store. Because to me, let's just say like a book order got messed up. So I don't know, I never ran a bookstore, so I don't know. Which is why I hired somebody who knows about that.
Right.
Let's say something like that happens, an invoice didn't get paid. Is that gonna be as important to me as somebody who right now doesn't have electricity in the house that we're flipping? No, I gotta get to that. Maybe, or maybe a contractor needs to get to that. But what I do know is you do have to have the separation because everything needs its individual time and attention. But I tell people all the time, I ain't say no names, people want to do, 10 things. It's cool to want to do 10 things, but if you're not doing one thing well and you're not giving that one thing your attention, none of the other 10 things are going to come off the ground.
Yeah, tell me this 2 years ago.
Just like, if you're good at something, you gotta put in the time. I didn't do this overnight.
Right.
Look what I told you, 15 years. 15 years, I just started really going crazy. In 2019 and 2020, when I retired.
Right.
I got back 50, 60 hours of my week back. What could you do with 60 hours? Most people don't put in 5 hours into their passion.
People have a hard time delegating the time when they get that time because they don't know how to structure their time when somebody's not giving them a schedule. So that's another thing that I think that people go through when they don't have, like, I don't know, like when they don't have a job.
Yeah, it's a matter of work ethic, right? I wrote a book. You know, I'm not a writer, but I had so much time and I was stir crazy. You couldn't go outside, you couldn't do anything. So I did research and I got more in tune to what my business was doing, and I created new structures. I was looking for different things that dropped. How can I make them better? I'm always refining, always refining. I put a post yesterday actually about BMW, Rolex, McDonald's. McDonald's pays millions and millions of dollars for like a little secret sauce to find the next burger that they're gonna sell that's gonna bring people back in. When people got more health conscious, what salad are they gonna use? When people started doing Atkins, what kind of food can we put that's Atkins friendly? Like, that's McDonald's. And people don't really understand like how much money McDonald's spends on advertising. You would feel like you never need to it's McDonald's. Like, how do you know? Well, you know because they always advertise. So you always have to find a way to become better. BMW, they want like their 10th generation 3 Series. That's like that car sells itself. That car sells itself. If you go in BMW, or if you go in Mercedes, you're not going in there for somebody to sell you a car. You're going in there because you either are a car enthusiast or because you're trying to have status symbol. So the car sells itself. Because the same piece, I mean, it's a little bit better than other cars, but basically it's the same thing. You're going to spend that money.
You're doing it for the price and the brand.
Yeah, the brand. So the car sells itself. So if a car already sells itself, why are they continuously tweaking little things, moving a button here just to make it better? Because they want to be ahead of the pack and they want to continue to keep that high integrity, and that's what I try to do. So if my price goes up, you better believe you're getting something more than the people who pay less was getting.
Right.
So yeah, my price goes up, but remember my client base has changed, and the quality of work is going up. So now some people say, well, you started your business to help people who didn't have money, who didn't have this and third. I still have a market for them. And for the people who couldn't even get close to talking to that, I'm building a community center.
Right.
I got my book half price, so I cut my book purchase price in half. Some people are like, damn, I bought the book early. I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? We'll make it up. But it's not even so million. But if I'm saving money, most people will keep it the same and try to cheat off. My book price went down, I cut my price in half because I got it for half price. That's who I am as a businessman. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I found success. Because I always have a profit sharing mentality. Like, I'm okay with making 10 if I can make 50. I'm still okay with making 10. So you can make 10, you can make 10, you can make 10, you can make 10.
Right. Everybody eats.
Everybody eats.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
So with the pandemic, I know that that's affected the market and how everybody's eating too. How has the pandemic been treating you, investing wise, and just overall, like, how has the pandemic affected the market? Because I know when things go bad, that's the best time to invest, unfortunately. So, how has that been treating you in your business?
As a flipper, the pandemic is the best thing in life. As a flipper, and like, again, I don't call myself a wholesaler. There's people that really do that all day and work with us and they send us those deals. But as a wholesaler, it's made things great. It's unfortunate, but everything has an ebb and a flow, and like a pro and a con. So it's unfortunate that some people lost jobs and then they're forced to sell their houses. It's unfortunate. But is it my fault? No. So some people say, why would you want to capitalize off that? And then I say, well, if somebody's going to lose their house, end up in bankruptcy, debt, and they're going to walk away with nothing and they're homeless, and I can offer them money, where they walk away with cash in their pocket and they still maintain their integrity and their credit, isn't that a better spot for them to be in?
Exactly.
To me, I think so. And then again, I also make sure that when I'm successful in terms of finance, I always give back. So, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm taking the money and going and buying like cars and jewelry and stuff. But it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to buy jewelry or car if I want to.
When you work hard.
So I'm allowed to, right? I should be able to enjoy stuff. But then I also make sure I give back enough. I don't know if it's a percentage, I just know that I take care of people. And I make sure I take care of the people that work with me, because nobody works for me. Nobody works for me, everybody works for me.
I love that.
Nobody's boss. I don't want to be, and everybody calls me boss, and I'm like,
No boss.
so I just, you know what I'm saying? So I just leave it. But that being said, just try to do the right thing. But yeah, for us, the pandemic has been good. It's unfortunate that it affected some people, but no matter what happens in life, somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose.
Okay.
So I just try to be in a winning position as much as possible.
That's fair enough. I like that you said that nobody worked for you. I love that. And then I guess just to wrap things up, what can we expect from you? I know that you're now dibbling and dabbling into a new venture. You want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah. Well, progress, right? We gotta add new value. And then also I learned that, land is limited, but houses that are built in prefab, those are even more limited, right? Because it's hard to find these niche houses so that we can make this profit for our clients. So I got into a little bit of land development by building a community center, again, named after my mom, Camp Community, and giving back. I'm learning how to work with architects, I'm learning what the floor plans are like, I'm learning about different things. Because I'm not saying I've done everything for 100 years. But what I'm telling you now is that if somebody asks me some of these questions, I can answer some of those questions because I've been through my experience. So that makes me more valuable, which means my information is more valuable.
Right.
And that being said, yeah, we'll continue to do land development. We have different things. There's some stuff that I don't have to talk about because I won't talk about it until we get the contract. But there's different plots of land that we're looking into developing, there's different projects, different cities, and just different markets. So I'm always looking to be better and always looking to try new things. And also, I know there's other businesses that I'm looking to invest into that I'm always ready to have these conversations about, where I don't need to have my name on it. And I have stuff like that now where people don't know this. I can say this because you'll never know. Where I invested in a certain business or a company or person, and I get a return on it, and I'm a part owner of the business.
So it's sort of like Shark Tank.
It is. That's called a venture capitalist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a venture capitalist. So when people say you're an entrepreneur, I say, well, I graduated to my final destination. My final destination was to be a venture capitalist. So I give young people, old people, whoever it is, somebody with a really, really good idea. If your execution is there, and I'm willing to take a chance. Luckily at this point, I'm able to take risks. But that's why there'll be different business. And again, my name will never be on. But it's something that I invested in. So that's the next steps.
We are so excited to see what 2021 has for you, or 2022, I should say, because 2021 we're already in. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're finally sitting down and doing the interview, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have another one probably in the next year to see what he's doing. And it's just been so great to be a part of this journey.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to have you, and you're one of the best people that has ever interviewed me, one of the favorites. So you can call me anytime. You got the information. Definitely talk. And thank you. And it's good to be out here in Jersey. I'm glad I had to make it work.
I know. So guys, thank you for tuning in, and make sure you follow. You can even tell them where to follow you.
Alright, so you're gonna have to have a whole list of things in your bio. So if you could Google me, Hussain, Mathman H, Abdullah, I should come up all over the place. If you Google HA Homes US, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the website, everything should come up. If you Google Fear Workshops or Forget Everything I Just Said, we should come up. Don't buy the book off Amazon and all that. That's for people who don't know about us. You go to the website, you get the price cheaper, and the money will go to a better place. So instead of us getting like $2 off a book, we'll get whatever we get off a book. And remember, that money's going back into like Camp Community Center. So Camp Community, last thing about Camp Community Center, which is Camp Community. You can't mess it up. Camp Community, there's the website, the Facebook, the YouTube, the Instagram, all that.
You want to spell it?
KEMP, which is Keep Educating My People.
I love that.
Community. You can't get that one wrong. I don't make any money off of anything at Camp Community. Camp Community sells 1 million books. all that money goes back into running the community center. I don't make any money off it. I never wanted to.
What is going to be at the community center?
It's going to be a community space where people can come do podcasts, do shows, do this, like meetings, events, workshops. We're going to have a STEM initiative where kids can come get free tutoring, all that stuff. So if we make money for the bookstore or the coffee shop, whatever we want to put in there, because we're still in work with certain things, the profits are going to go to make sure the laptops and the papers there, the pencils, the color pencils, the tutors to come out and the volunteers. Nobody does anything for me for free. I don't want anything for free. I want to pay everybody for their work. I don't want to owe anybody anything. I don't want anybody to be indebted. I don't want to be indebted to anybody. Everybody gets paid. So the more money we make, the more money goes back to Kemp community in Killeen, Texas.
Okay, that's dope, and that's a beautiful way to end it. Make sure you follow me at _Novacashh, 2H, and I will see you guys on the next Bosstler Highlight.